Welcome back, true believers and spectacular Spidey fans, to another Spider-Man PS4 related video. And today's topic is, again, a very interesting one at that, because of how it relates to the wonderful world of New York City that we will be able to explore in Spider-Man PS4, which, of course, if you don't know, which you freaking should know, it's a fully open world next generation Spider-Man game. So, of course, we're going to be able to swing around New York City. But just how much of New York City will we be able to swing around in? Now, this is a question from a lot of the hardcore, questionable, unsure Spider-Man fans who just want this game to be really great. Those are also the few who think the game is going to come out in 2018, who they are also comparing the game to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, which, again, this game is in no way related to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or the Amazing Spider-Man games or any other Spider-Man game whatsoever. Because of how Insomniac Games said numerous times that they are making everything from the ground up. They are doing everything from scratch. It is just all on the Ratchet & Clank engine, which means all the dynamics and computerizations of everything, which means from the AI of the villains to the citizens walking around the streets to the cars going around, all that stuff, that runs on the engine of Ratchet & Clank, which also means of how these structures are made within the game, because of how in Ratchet & Clank you could explore tons of different planets with tons of different amazing looking areas to fully immerse yourself in different planets with tons of different enemies to fight and different tasks to complete, different objectives to go and do, which is something that Spider-Man games have had a lot of benefits and downsides to in regards to that subject matter, in which we have an open world New York City to explore, such as Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, the Amazing Spider-Man games, the Raimi trilogy of games, and out of all those free-roaming games, only a select few have actually done this, where there have actually been indications of boroughs/districts within the New York City that you are swinging in as Spider-Man. Now, what do I mean by districts/boroughs? Now, what I mean by that is, in certain Spider-Man games, specifically Spider-Man 2, because that's the one that everyone's going to be comparing, when you swing around a certain part of New York City, it always said on the top of the screen which part of New York City you were in. So you were in Soho, you were in the Upper District, you were near the lower part of Queens. If you went onto the other side of Manhattan, if you crossed the bridge, you could be near the Iron District, where the Daily Bugle is located. So all these different areas in New York City is just a small portion of the actual real-life one-to-one scale New York City that you can go and see for yourself. Now, in terms of depth, Spider-Man Web of Shadows and Ultimate Spider-Man sadly did not do this, where they did not indicate the districts that we were in or the areas of New York that we were swinging in, because of how it was such a big map to go over that the developers did not have any time to actually indicate, oh, you're in this part of New York, and you're about to swing into this part of New York, which is, weirdly enough, where Spider-Man 2, and even, oddly to say the least, is that the Amazing Spider-Man 2 actually did a good job of this, because of how, with Spider-Man 2, of course, you were to swing in Soho, and it would say you're in Soho, which is awesome. But something that I really appreciate with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that if you were in Gramercy, Spider-Man would actually make a remark, oh, Gramercy, the art district. I hope there's no one stealing any art today. Or anything like that, any of those little one-lining quips to indicate that you are in a specific section of New York, which actually differentiates it from all the other buildings and mass construction areas of the city. Because some people were thinking, oh, did I just swing past this building a couple seconds ago in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game? Because of how they did not do that either. They didn't indicate a certain area that you were swinging in, which is why in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they tried to differentiate it as much as possible. We were swinging in Gramercy, you're maybe near Brooklyn or Harlem, all these different areas. Spider-Man would actually comment on it that you're entering and actually make you feel like you're in a wider New York City or a bigger New York population that you are actually in within that game. So, in terms of Spider-Man PS4, Insomniac Games has already said that they are trying to make this a very dynamic Spider-Man game. They're trying to make it the greatest game possible, not just for a Spider-Man game, but for a game in general. They're trying to deliver on all fronts, on all shapes and sizes, for all the players who are wanting anything and everything from this game. And one of those things is a very huge and various New York City with different districts and areas that we can explore in. going to the Grand Central Station or going down to the subway areas, and then maybe going into the Daily Bugle, maybe just hanging out near Times Square. All these different locations that you can go into within New York City. Also, given the fact that this is a fully next-generation Spider-Man game, with Sony publishing it, which means that they're giving Insomniac all the resources that they could possibly need in order to provide the players with a fully rich and developed New York City that all the players can actually walk around in. Because all the renditions of New York City in Spider-Man games, a lot of people from New York actually don't think that that's what New York looks like, or even in the Spider-Man 2, again, the most popular Spider-Man game, people still think that certain parts of that New York City do not look like New York City. Even back in 2004, people did not think that certain parts of that looked like New York City. So Insomniac is going to prove everyone wrong, and that is especially going to be shown throughout all the different sections and areas that you can go into in the city as well. That's what they did with Sunset Overdrive. There was the main area of Sunset City, then you can go into kind of the slum district or maybe even the high, more financial district of the city. So all these areas in Sunset Overdrive are just a little taste of what we can expect for Spider-Man PS4. And that is all for this video, everybody. Stay spectacular, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace out.